how about interface with Motion and Soundtrack Pro? One of the sadnesses of my life is that Soundtrack Pro is not supported. They didn't, Apple did not bring it forward. So Soundtrack Pro stops with Final Cut Studio 3. I'm hoping they've got some sort of magic thing on the carpet that will bring it back, but right now it's dead and there's no indication it's coming back. So we have to do all of our mixing inside Final Cut Pro 10. The filters from Soundtrack are moved over into Final Cut 10, so all of our soundtrack filters are there. The piece that's missing that I really, really want is to be able to assign our audio to tracks, so I can apply a filter to a track and do EQ or a limiter filter for all of my guy talking heads or girl talking heads. We can't do track assignments inside Final Cut 10, but the filters, the editing, and the basic audio manipulation is about as good or better in Final Cut 10 as it was in Final Cut 7. Not as good as Soundtrack, but definitely equal to or better than Final Cut 7. Interface with Motion. Motion is how we create effects for Final Cut 10. So when you look at a transition or you look at some sort of an effect that's inside Final Cut 10, that's actually a Motion template saved inside Motion and imported or linked to Final Cut. So all of our effects, everything that we do that's effects-based in Final Cut 10 comes from Motion. All the new plugins that we're going to get that we see coming in from Gen Arts or Noise Industries or the other guys that are working on plugins all have to be Motion plugins first before we can bring that effect over into Final Cut. The one thing that's missing between Final Cut and Motion 5, which is the new version of Motion, is that round tripping, which existed in Final Cut 7, does not exist in Final Cut 10. So there's a good interface from Motion to Final Cut. It's weak going from Final Cut to Motion.